What's up, guys? Today we'll be reviewing two of Nintendo's current generation consoles, the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, these two consoles currently run on the revised version of the Tegra X1 processor, which is, well, according to Nintendo itself, it should produce longer battery life compared to the older Switch version, the version 1, as well as it has cooler performance, resulting in minimal heat, as well as avoiding certain problems that I've been reading about, especially with the Switch, wherein the heat vents here, heat vents, they tend to crack because of excessive heat production by the processor. So these, I believe, are some of the issues that were addressed by Nintendo with the revision of the Tegra X1 processor, which is the main processor for these switches. Now, both of them have 32 gigabytes of onboard storage. They both have 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the difference between them, well, aside from the obvious differences in size, is playing time. I believe with the Switch Lite, you can play it around 3 to 7 hours, while with the Nintendo Switch, the original Switch, you can play for an average of about 4 to 9 hours, depending on the intensity of the game. If it's a power intensive game like Breath of the Wild, then definitely your playing time would be shortened because it uses much more processing power. So your mileage may vary depending on the kind of game you play. There's also the different settings like brightness and audio. Now, another good thing to note is when buying a Switch, the original one, how do you know if you're getting the version 2? That's pretty easy just by simply looking at the box. The version 2 Switch, as you can see here, comes in a red box. While the version 1, I don't have it with me, it comes in a white box. And if you really want to be sure, you can also look at the model number. If you can see it there, it should focus. Yeah. It should read, there should be like a 01 enclosed in parentheses with the model number, indicating that it is a revised version of the Nintendo Switch. Now, what are the other differences between these two? Well, obviously, size. As you can see, the Switch Lite has a 5.5-inch screen, while the Switch has a 6.5-inch screen. And there's also a difference in price. Definitely, there's a difference of around 10,000 pesos between the two of them. So, if you're kind of in a budget, so you can also opt to just get the Lite version. But the thing with the Lite is you'll be stuck with just portable gaming. While a really strong point with the Switch, the reason why it sells right now is because, well, the name itself, Switch, it switches. How does it do that? For example, right now, it's in handheld mode. You can play it like so, right? And if you're not into handheld gaming, what you can do is you can press right here, and the Joy-Cons, they come right off. See? And what you can do with that, it also has a kickstand here, as you can put it down on tabletop, like so. And then you can do a bit of tabletop gaming. You can even, these Joy-Cons or controllers, once you detach them, they become separate controllers. And you can play 2-player mode on this wirelessly. So you can do some tabletop gaming in 2-player mode. And another thing to do with the Switch is if you dock it, hold on, I'll get my dock for a moment. See, the Switch comes with a dock. Okay, the dock itself is where you insert your Switch, and it connects to your TV, And if you dock it, then you have what is inevitably a home console, like so. There. See, once you put it inside this dock and you connect it to your television, then you have console gaming, and that is why it's called the Switch, because the original one, this one, it switches. Now with the Lite version though, this one, well, for one thing, the Joy-Cons are fixed. Oh, so it's no longer called Joy-Cons. I'm sorry. It's controllers. The controllers are fixed to the Switch Lite, and it does not fit in the dock. So you put it here. Besides, if you actually even try to figure out how to connect the dock to the Switch Lite, it will not output because watching online, they have actually tore down the Switch Lite, opened it up, and they have found that one of the things that Nintendo removed from the Lite, in the Lite version, was the HDMI video output, which actually sends the signal to your TV. So that's one of the things that they removed with the Lite version. Now, with the Lite, the good thing with it though, what I've noticed is, since the controllers are fixed to the unit, it is a unibody design like this, when gaming, it does not actually vibrate or loosen because it's fixed, as compared with the original Switch. Because with the original Switch, if you insert the Joy-Con controllers, even with this one, this is still actually pretty new. So switch, slide it in like that. Now, with the original Switch, what I did notice with them is that when gaming, there seems to be a bit of movement with the Joy-Cons. And it's not much, but it is noticeable when gaming. So that's one of the things I noticed with them, the difference with them. And of course, it is heavier. So if you're planning on a lot of portable gaming, I think you'd be better off with the Lite version because it is lighter. Now, another thing I've noticed with them is that the buttons with the Lite here, compared with the Switch, seem to be softer. They don't have that much, click to it. As compared with the original Switch, the buttons are firmer and there is really a good amount of travel with them. Now, others are also complaining that with the Switch, the original Switch, these supposed to be directional buttons, they are buttons. They're not compared with this. It's just a directional pad. And I know to some people it might not seem much, but the thing with the difference in the joypad and the buttons is when you're playing fighting games, like Street Fighter, and making combinations, it's pretty difficult with buttons, and it's a lot easier to execute with the pad. You can also go with the wireless SN Pro controller or SN30 Pro Plus controller, the one with the hand grip, the one I'm using right now. So these ones, they're pretty good. They also have the rumble function. Oh, another thing that's a difference between the original Switch and the Lite. The original Switch has HD rumble, while the Lite does not. So that's another thing that they cost cut with the Lite version. And it's not a deal breaker, but if you're into immersive gaming, of course, that takes away from the experience. Unless, of course, you also buy this. If you get a third-party controller or the original Wireless Pro controller of Nintendo, they all come with rumble function. So even with the Lite, if you're going to be using a wireless controller, then you're still getting that rumble function, so you're not really losing that much with experience. The Lite, though, retains the gyro function, so if you're playing like Breath of the Wild, aiming arrows and solving puzzles, that stuff, well, it works, so you can still play them. And though you can't play party games with the Lite, such as Mario Party, and what call this? I believe ARMS. You can't do that because it uses the Joy-Cons in detached mode. So games which need the controllers to be detached for the Nintendo Switch, you can't play with those. Especially the Nintendo Labo also, which is like a DIY craft kind of game. So you can't play that with the Switch Lite because it requires that the Joy-Cons be removed. Now, one of the things you'll also notice with them when playing with portable games is it puts some stress on your hand, so it's better to actually install some grips. For example, like these, I got these from online, so you can install them on your units, and it provides some sense of grip here, improving your grip, so your controllers, you get more control with them when you insert them. And at the same time, they also provide protection for your units. Now, it's easy enough to install. Just put them in like that. There. And then you've got a good grip to control your unit there for gaming. So if you're into prolonged gaming, this is very good. It's comfortable enough that you can play on it for hours, and you're not going to get that I don't know, the sort of like carpal tunnel thing with your hands. So that's a good point to consider if you're planning to do a lot of handheld gaming. Get some good grips. So that's it for my review of the two consoles of Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch version 2 and the Nintendo Switch Lite. I hope you found it informative. Please like and subscribe to my channel to be informed of any new videos that I put up. And I hope everyone keeps safe. Have a good day. God bless.